So I said that I would make a quick video on my favorite websites that I recommend to my students for when you want to practice. So I have a few that I tell my students to use all the time. First one is News in Slow English. So what I really like about this website is that you can read the text and listen at the same time, and they speak really slowly. So not only is this really good for listening, but it's also great for pronunciation because you get to see the word and hear it pronounced at the same time. So, especially if you're an A1 or an A2 level, I recommend that you use this to practice your listening. Also, I really like a website called Breaking News English. Breaking News English has thousands of free articles available to practice reading. And there is in two levels, so a lower and a higher level. Underneath these two paragraphs of text that you can read, you will find lots of exercises where you can practice the words that were introduced in the reading article. So there's lots of ways to practice the new vocabulary. If you go into the podcast section, it's like News in Slow English. You can find a text where you can read the text and hear someone read it at the same time. So again, really good for listening, really good for pronunciation, and great to learn new words every day. I like to use is Perfect English Grammar. She has made very easy to understand explanations, and you can find them in the explanation section. But also, you can go into exercises, and here you can do those exercises about whichever grammar section you are learning. And as I said in my previous video, if you want to learn grammar, you've got to continuously do the exercises until you're really comfortable. So, you will probably use all the exercises in perfect English grammar. So, what can you do then to keep going? Well, as I said, Google is the best resource you have. Just Google present, simple, or continuous and put exercises, and you will literally get hundreds of websites where people have created exercises that you need to decide, do I use the simple? Do I use the continuous? And if you keep doing these types of exercises, you will get really comfortable and you will sound a lot more fluent when you're able to use that speaking. If you're an A1 or A2, then use the websites where they speak very slowly to begin with. And use the websites again where you can Google English Reading A1, English Reading A2, and you will find all the websites with easier texts because you must start that way. When you're B1 or B2, again, use Google English Reading B1, B2, or the websites that I've already mentioned. They also have reading text. You can also use 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English if you're in the B1 or B2. And here you will find lots of podcasts you can use to practice your listening and learn new vocabulary. People always say, okay, so I'll watch Netflix in English. And yes, that's great as an extra thing to do. But it should not be the only way you practice listening in English if you are in the A's or the B levels. When you get to C1 or C2 level, then start learning more from things that native people use, like regular podcasts, movies, TV, and reading actual newspaper articles. So if you're C1 or C2, great, do that. But at the beginning, really try to use these resources that I recommend to my students for regular practice. So if you have any other questions, you can put them in the comments and I'll get back to you.